Hello, my friends. I hope that you guys are all doing super good. I'm actually just popping in just to read you part of this book that I picked up the other day. It's been hanging around for a couple of years, and I just happened to pick it up, and just felt like somebody needs this message. It served me well, so I thought I would just hop on and share it with you. Hope my phone's not trying to focus there. Oh, I got some crazy filter on. That's hysterical. This is so funny. Isn't that funny? I come on live and got my phone is freaking out. I hide behind a book. I don't know how to turn it off. Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh. Am I supposed to just get off and then like fix it and come back on again? That's so funny. I guess you're getting a good look at what the book is. Isn't that so? I mean, somebody needed a good laugh. Oh, that is so funny. That's hysterical. Jay, you're funny. I don't know how to turn it off. Oh wait, I found it. Don't go away. Okay, let's see if it's better now. That was hysterical. Oh boy. Well, maybe that's so funny. Maybe this is the purpose that I was supposed to be serving making the video. Oh, that was hysterical. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I would ever go back and edit that out. If I put my stuff on YouTube or whatever. I don't even know if I would go back and edit that out to fix it. That was just too hysterical. Oh my god, it was creepy. Oh my gosh. Well, peace, and I was kind of wore out, but yeah, there's this book called Embracing Your Life with the Heart of Buddha. So, by Tara Brach. Anyway, I read the prologue the other day. I know I was still reading The Gift of the Red Bird, and I'm kind of stuck on where I left off on chapter 3 or something like that, but I just believe in divine timing, Some things just take longer than others, and I just kind of go with my guidance, and sometimes it's to read scripture, sometimes it's to share healing mantras and things like that. And I picked up this book, and it reading the beginning of it just really hit home, and I just know that there's going to be someone out there who needs the message too. So it's called Something Is Wrong with Me, and this book is actually written by she is a psychologist and therapist, a Buddhist meditation teacher, a yogi. She's a mom, so on and so forth. But I'm just gonna read this for you. So kind of tired, but I just really felt inclined to hop on and read this, so I'm gonna do that, and I don't want to keep babbling. So something is wrong with me. Maybe I needed to read it again right now for myself, right? Okay, when I was in college, I went off to the mountains for a weekend of hiking with an older, wiser friend of 22. After we set up our tent, we sat by a stream, watching the water swirling around rocks and talking about our lives. At one point, she described how she was learning to be her own best friend. A huge wave of sadness came over me, and I broke down sobbing. I was the furthest thing from my own best friend. I was continually harassed by an inner judge who was merciless, relentless, nitpicking, driving, often invisible, but always on the job. I knew I would never treat a friend that way, the way I treated myself, without mercy or kindness. My guiding assumption was something is fundamentally wrong with me, and I struggled to control and fix what felt like a basically flawed self. I drove myself in academics, was a fervent activist, and devoted myself to a very full social life. I avoided pain and created more, with an addiction to food and a preoccupation with achievement. My pursuit of pleasure was sometimes wholesome in nature, with friends, but it also included an impulsive kind of thrill-seeking through recreational drugs, sex, and other adventures. In the eyes of the world, I was highly functional. Internally, I was anxious, driven, and often depressed. I didn't feel at peace with any part of my life. This is a really good reading. I know that almost everybody can relate to some part of this. Feeling not okay went hand in hand with deep loneliness. In my early teens, I sometimes imagined that I was living inside a transparent orb that separated me from the people and life around me. When I felt good about myself and at ease with others, the bubble thinned until it was like an invisible wisp of gas. When I felt bad about myself, the walls got so thick it seemed others must be able to see them. Now, mind you, this is not like a, this is like a, her actual feelings and thoughts, it's not like a fictional story. Imprisoned within, I felt hollow and achingly alone. The fantasy faded somewhat as I got older, but I lived with the fear of letting someone drown or being rejected myself. With my college friend, it was different. I trusted her enough to be completely open. Over the next 2 days of hiking on mountain ridges, sometimes talking with her, sometimes sitting in the silence, I began to realize that beneath all of my mood swings, depression, loneliness, and addictive behavior lurked the feeling of deep personal deficiency. I was getting my first clear glimpse into a core of suffering that I would revisit again and again in my life. While I felt exposed and raw, I intuitively knew that by facing this pain, I was entering a path of healing. As we drove down from the mountains that Saturday night, my heart was lighter but still aching. I longed to be kinder to myself. I longed to befriend my inner experience and to feel more intimacy and ease with the people in my life. When some years later these longings drew me to the Buddhist path, I found there the teachings and practices that enabled me to directly face my feelings of unworthiness and insecurity. They gave me a way of seeing clearly what I was experiencing and showed me how to relate to my life with compassion. The teachings of the Buddha also helped undo my painful and mistaken notion that I was alone in my suffering, that it was a personal problem and somehow my fault. Over the past 20 years, as a psychologist and Buddhist teacher, I've worked with my thousands of clients and students who have revealed how painfully burdened they feel by a sense of not being good enough. Whether our conversations take place in the middle of a 10-day meditation retreat or during a weekly therapy session, the suffering, the fear of being flawed and unworthy, is basically the same. So many of us feeling of deficiency are right around the corner. It doesn't take much, just hearing of someone else's accomplishments, being criticized, getting into an argument, making a mistake at work, to make us feel that we're not okay. As a friend of mine put it, Feeling that something is wrong with me is the invisible and toxic gas I am always breathing. When we experience our lives through this lens of personal insufficiency, we are imprisoned in what I call the trance of unworthiness. Trapped in this trance, we are unable to perceive the truth of who we really are. A meditation student at a retreat I was teaching told me about an experience that brought home to her the tragedy of living in trance. Marilyn had spent many hours sitting at the bedside of her dying mother, reading to her, meditating next to her late at night, holding her hand and telling her over and over that she loved her. Most of the time, Marilyn's mother remained unconscious, her breath labored and erratic. One morning before dawn, she suddenly opened her eyes and looked clearly and intently at her daughter. "You know," she whispered softly, "all of my life I thought something was wrong with me." Shaking her head slightly, as if to say, "What a waste," she closed her eyes and drifted back into a coma. Several hours later, she passed away. We don't have to wait until we are on our deathbed to realize what a waste of our precious life it is to carry the belief that something is wrong with us. Yet because our habits of feeling insufficient are so strong, awakening from the trance involves not only inner resolve, but also an active training of the heart and mind. Through Buddhist awareness practices, we free ourselves from the suffering of trance by learning to recognize what is true in the present moment, and by embracing whatever we see with an open heart. This cultivation of mindfulness and compassion is what is called radical acceptance. Radical acceptance reverses our habit of living at war with experiences that are unfamiliar, frightening, or intense. It is the necessary antidote to years of neglecting ourselves, years of judging and treating ourselves harshly, years of rejecting this moment's experience. Radical acceptance is the willingness to experience ourselves and our life as it is. A moment of radical acceptance is a moment of genuine freedom. The 20th century Indian meditation master encourages us to wholeheartedly enter the path of freedom. All I plead with you is this: make love of yourself perfect. For Marilyn, the final words of her dying mother awakened her to this possibility. As she put it, it was her parting gift. I realized I didn't have to lose my life in the same way she did. Out of love for my mother, for life, I resolved to hold myself with more acceptance and kindness. We can each choose the same. When we practice radical acceptance, we begin with the fears and wounds of our own life and discover that our heart of compassion widens endlessly. In holding ourselves with compassion, we become free to love this living world. This is the blessing of radical acceptance. As we free ourselves from the suffering of something is wrong with me, we trust and express the fullness of who we are. So the last paragraph is just her prayer that the teachings in this book may serve as we awaken together. May we each discover the pure awareness and love that are our deepest nature. May our loving awareness embrace all beings everywhere. So in the very beginning of that, there was a short poem before the foreword, and I didn't read that, but I love it. I actually had a quote posted on my page somewhere in my stuff a long time ago, and it said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. That is by Rumi. So that was the prologue, before the first chapter. Something is wrong with me from Radical Acceptance. So sure, I'll probably read more of that another time. Who knows what tomorrow may bring. I know I still have to read Gift of the Red Bird for some, and I'm still there. I haven't forgot. So I hope that reading was useful and good, and for you who's watching and whoever is. I love you guys and always thinking about you, and hope everybody is doing well. Sure has been stressful. It's been such a roller coaster, and so I'm just sending prayers of good thoughts and healing out there for everybody, just to maintain their peace and balance. Try to find good things, and seeing the good things. We don't have to find them, they're there. We just got to open our eyes to seeing them. So I just hope everybody's doing good, and I just love you for being here with me. It's been a little while, and sure I'll be seeing you soon. So again, I hope that you enjoyed reading part of that with me, and I'm sure I'll be back to see you soon. Peace and love to you, and have a peaceful and blessed evening, you and your loved ones and your family. Healings of blessings and love and strength and peace and rest. Good, solid rest. And I'll be seeing you soon.